First of all, I don't even know if it's working. We want to use game to help you improve your social skills and processing your emotions and feelings. That's what Backstab Club is and represents. I think when people see our channel, the impression they get is like, why are you guys doing this? Like, we have to prove that this is interesting, people want to watch. Otherwise, in 1 year, we're going to be out of business. I'm going to be applying for jobs. That's the adventure here, trying to figure out how the algorithm speaks and how to speak its language.
Have you already learned something?
The biggest lesson is like,
the way I got to know you, you were still at Typeform being a creative director, and you were kind of transitioning into this creator YouTube thing. Tell me a little bit about what you're up to now, because I feel like a lot has changed and you're like having crazy plans.
Crazy plans are great when they're planned. When they can become reality, now your reality is crazy. And that's like sometimes not that fun. But dude, like, yes, you said it right. Like when we met, I was at Typeform. I was Typeform creative director for 5 years. And then I was Typeform's director of content. On that journey, I got really hyped about the creator economy. I actually learned what it was. Basically, I was just like seeing kids getting thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of views on TikTok. And we weren't able to put like more than 1,000 views on our socials. And I was like, there's something to learn here. And I'm a very curious person by nature. So I was like, I started digging into like, how are these kids getting these views? And got really excited. Like I come from traditional film background. So all of this was like very new to me. And I was like very judgmental at the beginning, like everyone, a lot of people still are. How can you like think that this is a good video? It's like you did it with your phone. Like that sounds even stupid to say it now, but like trust me, like 2-3 years ago, that was like the norm, right?
And especially coming from a film background, anything shot on the phone it's not
rubbish.
worth your time. Yeah, it's bad.
So for me, like that was like very challenging when I started like going down the rabbit hole, and yeah, I just had that moment, epiphany, like started learning about the creator economy and got really psyched. I kind of figured at some point that like companies needed that. Like company needed, like every brand needs that mojo that creators have. And I also realized that creators, most of them, or I should say maybe a lot of them, are kind of lost in terms of like branding structure and processes and stuff like that. I was like, wait, like I could kind of like become the connector between these two worlds, like this super exciting creator economy that like corporate world like doesn't even know that exists sometimes. I position myself as that kind of like person in between these, two universes, and it was fun and I love it and I still like it and I still do that. But I guess on the process of teaching people how to get views, I got greedy and I was like, I also want those views for myself. And I also want to make a project that is mine and that, I can grow. And I guess that's where we are now. So at some point I was like, my partner insisted me a lot in an idea that I had while I was in LA about doing game shows and social strategy games. But it was not the right time for us to do it or for me to do it there because it's so expensive to do anything in LA. Like imagine like you take Uber, it can cost you $100. Imagine like shooting like anything. And at some point after like 2 years of him being like very persistent, like we have to do this. It's a good idea. I was like, okay. Let's do it. Like, let's go to Barcelona and let's do it. Because if I have to do something like this, of this magnitude, like it has to be in a place where I feel comfortable and where my network is. And that's why we moved back to Barcelona. That's where I'm originally from, I'm born and raised here. And eventually, like, we started this project, which is called Backstab Club. And it's a YouTube channel. And we just launched like a couple of weeks ago.
And there's a lot of effort in it. I can tell that much. Tell me a little bit more about Backstab Club. What is it really, and what are you trying to do with it?
So the way if I want a punchline, it would be something like Fight Club, but for your mind, right? Yes, we think of it as like sports, right? So when you play like any sort of sports, so football,
sure,
whatever.
Yeah.
So you go, you work out. It's something that like gets you fit. It's like a habit. It's a community. So we want to do the same thing, but for your mind, right? So we want to use game to help you improve your social skills, have a good time, and yeah, get better at interacting with other humans and processing your emotions and feelings. And that's what Backstab Club is and represents.
I really like this aspect of emotional intelligence and trying to bring that out of people, or like help people train that, because yeah, it's not something that we really talk about or think about at all, right?
I think we do think about it. I just don't think we prioritize it. Let's get this straight. Like, I love doing game shows, and I love making games for my friends and seeing them like betray each other. Like, I really have a lot of fun doing that. But what really is at the core of this is, I think, the best achievements of our society, like, is curing certain diseases or going to the moon or like all this crazy like scientific stuff. All of this is thanks to our IQ, right? Like our intelligence. And that's the one thing they'll teach you at school.
Mm-hmm.
But at least when I went to school, like, nobody would talk about emotions. Nobody would really teach. I know this is different now, but like, no one really teaches you how to deal with someone that is not interested in you, or like how to deal with something that's being deceptive to you. Like, no one teaches you how to negotiate, how to get the things that you want, but in a way that is um, beneficial for everyone involved, right? And I think those are like critical skills that we need as humans to survive, because we live in society. How is it possible nobody teaches you that? I think that should be like one of the most important things that they teach you at school. The thing is, I just don't want to do like a freaking like talking head video teaching you. Also, by the way, I'm no expert on this. I just know about my experience and something that's really interesting for me. So I figured it's way more interesting to learn those things by playing and by watching people play, and maybe at some point even analyzing those games, than it is about like than just reading a book. So that's why I do this.
This is not a talking head video. This is not somebody doing it in their bedroom, becoming a content creator, the easy mode, so to speak. You're like going full on hard mode on YouTube. How do you think about that? How, like, how do you make this work? Or no, not how to make this work, but how do you think about starting something like this?
Okay, first of all, I don't even know if it's working. It's working for us, I guess, personally, because that's like
Yeah.
a project that we wanted to do. Um,
I mean, you're at
I
the
don't
very
even.
start, so it doesn't have to
It's
work.
very early, yeah. For me, it was very important to have all the tools necessary to do these things and to give myself a frame of time to do it,
Mm-hmm.
so I can fully focus. Like, it's really hard what we do because we're a very lean team. It's just really my partner and I. We have two other partners on the company, but they're less involved. So basically, like, day to day, it's me and Pau, and we do this like basically on our own. We have someone that helps us with the edits a little bit, but it's a very lean team. So you have to think, to make a reality show or like a game show, we've had to up to 11 cameras, and it's
Wow.
just two people on our team. It's just me and him, and I'm hosting. Um, I mean, it's intense. And so for me, it was very important to at least have all the tools, so I don't need to worry about like production. Like, we just raised some capital to be able to have like this space where I'm in right now, and have like the 5 6 cameras that we use, and like the little equipment, like a couple of lights, and just use our savings to like be able to like be 1 year doing this. Like, that's the time frame that we've given ourselves, like 1 year. Let's see what we can achieve in 1 year. Let's try all sorts of crazy things, and let's see where we are in 1 year, and then we'll be able to have a conversation, see if it's worth extending that. Because right now, like, when you start a new channel, like, there's no sponsors for like entertainment on a new channel. Like, I guess it's different if like if you're like an like educate like edutainer. With a very small audience, you can monetize.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
for me, like on my own like branding personal channel, like Alex Antolino, I have like 1.6 thousand subscribers. It's very small, but I've done a brand deal. With this, I mean, it's because it's like B2B content. It's for like businesses, so there's more value. It makes sense for my audience to use a specific tool. It makes sense for the tool to maybe want to reach that audience. But for entertainment, it's like, who's gonna pay for this? So we don't know yet. It's something that we have planned. We don't have an idea of a plan. We have a plan, but I had to throw that in. But it's hard because like until like, we have to prove ourselves, basically. Like we have to prove that this is interesting. People want to watch. Otherwise, in 1 year, we're gonna be out of business. I'm gonna be applying for jobs.
That's always an option. That's something I had to learn as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
But having this year time frame, how much of the content strategy did you plan out, or is it like you have? I don't know. Do you work in seasons? Do you work in like every week a video comes out? How do you iterate on that? Because a year is a long time frame, and like I don't think you want to pre-produce 52 videos.
No, you couldn't, I think. At least the type of videos that we do. By the way, everything is in Spanish, but I hope that YouTube enables multi-language and we're ready to like do like dubs in English and everything when it's ready. We
Yeah.
just don't have the feature enabled right now. So just don't subscribe yet if you don't speak Spanish, because then you're not going to watch the videos and that's going to damage our channel. So even if you want to be nice, just don't subscribe if you don't want to watch the videos because they're in Spanish. I do appreciate it anyways, though. Maybe just wait, because like as soon as YouTube enables that multi-language feature for every creator and small creators like us, we're gonna have that. But that being said, I'm super pumped about content strategy, and I love that you're asking me this question because I'm huge on branding and content strategy. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what we've been doing and what we're doing from that like angle, and hopefully that's gonna be useful for everyone watching. There were two things that I thought were really important when we raised some money to do this. Thing number one has to do with branding. Thing number two has to do with content strategy. With branding, I knew we needed a strong brand. And by strong brand, I don't mean like a super clear story, brand strategy, blah, blah, blah. We needed a strong visual identity. And the reason why I say this is because this channel is called Backstab Club. It's not called Alex Antolino. So I cannot use my face to promote it as like a logo, like any channel would do. Like, so I need something to put in there that is somehow piques curiosity, and I need a name. Like I'm not going to use my name because this is not about me. It's about a community. So that's why we got this name, Backstab Club, because it's all social games. And so we're playing with this idea of like, someone's going to stab you in the back and to eliminate you. And it's a club because it's a community. So I knew the name was really important to help people like get a feeling or an idea, or like just some sort of feel something when they see it, or get, like even like curiosity. And I knew like the first impression was important because I wanted to grow very, very quickly. So I wanted to, if someone finds a video of us, I wanted to be like, whoa, what is this? First of all, I haven't seen anything quite like this. Then I want them to look at the who's done it and see like Backstab Club, what is this? And then when they land on our profile, I want them to be like, what the fuck? This only have like 200 views. And why is this so? What is this? Like, how can, like all these questions that you're asking me, this is by design. I wanted people to ask these questions when they see our videos, like, who's paying for this?
Mm-hmm.
Because that, I think, or that's my hypothesis, generates this curiosity. Like, you need to know more. There's this like curiosity gap that you need to close. Like, who are these people? Like, why are they making these videos? They don't have views yet. So you feel compelled to like follow that story.
You're sending them on a treasure hunt.
Yes. And for the content strategy, I have no idea what's going to work. Like, I've been consuming YouTube for many years. I've been analyzing YouTube for a few years now. I've been talking about YouTube with like people in the community at different levels, from brands, creators, even like platforms. So I know a little bit about this world, but I have no idea what's going to work. So I need to throw a bunch of stuff to the wall, and see what sticks. Now,
Mm.
to do that, I have this. I don't know if you and I ever talked about this. I have this theory of the carousel. Did I ever
Okay.
talk about this with you?
Doesn't sound familiar yet.
So you know the little like horses on the carousel.
Yes.
You know when like these other thing that they have at fun fairs with like it's like a horse race and like you throw balls. Have you seen that thing? When
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
there's like
yeah.
plenty of horses and then you throw balls and then there's one that's gonna win.
Yes, I know what you mean.
All right. So I think content actually works like this, where like every ball. So you're a player. Actually, you're all the players, and then imagine like there's like 10 horses. Okay. And then every ball you throw at one of these like things, hoping to like score, is a piece of content. Might be a video, might be a TikTok, whatever platform you're working on. And so my goal was to have in 1 year as many horses as possible and
Hmm.
throw at each horse as many balls as possible to find a winning horse. Because I know many horses are going to be left behind. So what does that mean exactly? What does that mean in terms of content? That means that every every ball that I'm talking about is one of the videos I post on my channel. And then every horse is a different show that I have on my channel. So I have one show that is a board game called Insider, which is really fun, turned into a game show. That
Hmm.
was the first one that we did, very basic, but we needed to get things going. So that's one show. It's called Insider. And then there's like 3 videos or 4 videos on my channel. Now, the next one is an action show. So people on the street chasing each other. It's called Urban Hunters. And so it's basically like 2 teams, they chase each other on the street and they have people on the studio telling them what to do. Okay. It's an action show because it's like people running, like action movie music, that type of shit. And it's really fun. And that's another show. So that's another horse. So my goal this year is to have 10 different shows, and for
Okay.
each show, 3 or 4 different episodes at least. That's, if you do the math, around 50 videos in
Yeah.
1 year. So we have now launched, I think, 3 or 4 shows already, and 1 or 2 episodes for each show. And are at the stage that we are, which is growth and very early stages. We're just trying to grow. So that's why we're creating all these different shows. They're very different from each other, and we're just trying to figure out what works and what people enjoys. And then when we find a winning horse, that's when we're gonna double down on that and maybe get rid of the other 4 and focus on that one and do horses that are similar to the winning horse, if that makes sense.
I love that picture of the horse race game. That makes so much sense to me. And I like the way you think about it because, you know, the standard YouTube advice is just like quantity, 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 and just like make more. But the way you just split that up is so much more visual and so much more playful. You know, there's different ways. I don't have to just like make the same video over and over again. I have different ways to get to my goal or to like find a winning horse.
I think the reason why we do this is first because I think right now, at the very early stage of a channel, you just need to experiment. You don't know what's going to work. I mean, by all means, if you have a video that's gone viral, like do it over and over and over. Just iterate on that. Like I would do it. Like I'll do it when I get a viral video. Like I'll start, iterating on that because you need to capitalize on this. But to get there, you're more likely to get there if you are trying different things versus
Yeah.
trying to perfect one thing. So you don't know if you're going to get there. Maybe you're on a dead end. I mean, that's how I approach it. Also, because it makes me way more comfortable thinking that I'm focusing on progress and trying to achieve progress rather than perfection. Like I see this as a lab where we try different things. and the goal is to learn.
So right now there's 5 videos that are already released. Have you already learned something?
Oh, tons. Like a lot. First of all, also because like when we launched the channel, we had already 8 videos finished that were
Okay.
uploaded on the channel behind the scenes. So now
Yeah.
there's like I think 5 that are live, plus 2
Yeah.
that are premiere, like you said, and we have
Mhm.
2 more that are already on the channel that are like unlisted or private. The biggest lesson is like we need to be more like natural, I guess. Not natural because like I don't think we're unnatural, but like there's something that I really like about YouTube and that I've been preaching on every fucking like conference that I've like talked to. You have to like make your content in a way that is approachable, and like Mr. Beast doesn't use cinematic cameras for a reason when he could do it, and blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden I make my content like it's a fucking movie. That's one thing I need to figure out, how to, like I come from traditional, so I start thinking, okay, cameras get those angles, blah blah, and then by default I try to make things look good because that's what I've been doing for 20 years, and eventually I ended up with something that's like very rigid and very like a TV show, like a proper like TV stuff, and I don't want that because I'm like producing for YouTube, and you're supposed to connect with like the host and the players as like humans and not see them as like puppets. So so that's one of the lessons that I'm learning.
Now let's tell me about your launch strategy, because that's something when I started my channel, I was thinking way too much about it, and I want to know what you did for that.
Well, I'm actually really happy about this. My plan was to have like 2 months of content pre-recorded so we can actually like focus on stuff. I knew that there would be like moments where like we wouldn't be able to keep at the pace of posting one week at a, like every week, which is what we're doing right now. So we launched the channel when we actually had 8 videos uploaded privately on our channel. The problem is I didn't want to launch a video every week and then have crickets for the first 3 weeks because people would see maybe one potentially, imagine like one, like that would be very lucky, but imagine the first video goes viral. I don't want people to like find that video, be like, oh, who are these people? And then go and find an empty channel.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did, because we had that backlog of like 8 videos, was to schedule the first 6 videos as premiere every week. So by day 1, even before the first videos launched, you would land on a channel, you would see 8 videos there, you would get an expectation on when they were gonna be launched, and then you would see all the different like thumbnails and titles, and you would get an idea of what the channel is about, and you would understand that this is just a new channel that just launched, and that you just need to wait. And I was able doing that to at the end cards of the videos have those videos in Premiere. So when what we're doing is like if we have 3 shows, every episode of each show leads to another episode of the same show.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't post the whole show like consecutively. So we post one video, show 1, show 2, show 3, show 1. So we alternate them, right?
Yeah.
So when we posted the first episode of one show and you reach the end, at the end card of the video, you would find the second episode, you would click on it, you would land on it, it would say premiere in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So that was my plan. And I think it worked out really well because like the first 2, like we launched 3 weeks ago and like we have 300 subscribers. So this is not like Cleo Abrams type of growth.
Sure.
But I mean, it's not bad. Like for a channel that just launched to have like videos with like 800 views or like 500 views, or like the first video we got like 1,000 views. Like for me, considering what I experienced on my own channel, like that's like 10x. So
Yeah. No, that's really good. Did you do anything to promote it in the sense of like,
nothing. We
any
just
kind of
told our friends.
short form content?
Nothing.
Now, if you think about somebody who has not posted their first video, but they want to share their experience or want to tell their story, what would you tell them?
I would say forget about packaging, forget about followers. Just make sure that like your story that you wanted to tell is like there. You're happy with the video, and then look at the analytics. And then when you've done this enough for like you have 10 videos, that's when you start thinking about packaging and titles and like what the trends are and like all this stuff that makes the algorithm happy. But I think you need to be happy first, so you can make the algorithm happy. Because then if you make the algorithm happy first, that's you get a lot of dopamine, but that's a dangerous place to be, because you might end up doing videos on the street, giving money to homeless people, and all these like weird, like dark, which would make for a whole different podcast episode.
Love it. Now I already know you have your year ahead and you have your horse analogy, but what does success look like to you actually?
Oh, easy. That I can get the things that I want with the people that I want, as much time of the day as possible. That's success for me. So I'm pretty successful right now. I just need to make money or views at least so I can extend this more than 1 year. But I'm like pretty successful right now.
Nice.
Like
Love
we
it.
had to like invest some money to be able to do this for a year. And that's the time that we bought working in corporate after many years to do this. Like that to me, it's a success on its own.
So all the Spanish speakers can go check out Backstab Club on
Yes.
YouTube. But if people want to connect with you, what's the best way to stay in your orbit?
Subscribe to my personal channel, like Alex Antolino. But if you actually want to like reach out, like DM me on Instagram at Antolino, or find me on LinkedIn, Alex Antolino. And I'm always happy to chat, like you said at the beginning. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
It's always nice talking to you. This was fun.
Same, man. Thanks for inviting me. I love it. And by the way, I have to say, huge appreciation for what you're doing. I think trying to connect people is one of the most important things in the times that we're living. And so I will always have time to like hang out and like support you, because I think what you're doing is very hard. Not that many people are focusing on it right now. And I love that you're like focusing on building those connections. So super respect what you're doing, and yeah, always have my support for that.
And if this resonates with you, if you are a solo creator looking for connections and having conversations with other people who are just as crazy as you are, you might enjoy the Creator Orbit community, an online co-working space where you get the accountability and the feedback that helps you grow. You can find the link for that down in the description. But if you want a little vibe check first, you might want to check out my conversation with Tom, where we talk about podcasting and all sorts of other stuff. I hope to see you there.